All right, everyone, welcome back to OPM and Beyond, where we discuss, you guessed it, other people's money and how to learn about ourselves and create generational wealth. Today, we're going to be talking about vision boards.
I was a diamond in the rough. They said what we had wasn't enough. They said there was no more room for us. But now we're here about to tear it up. I was a diamond in the rough. They said what we had wasn't enough. They said there was no more room for us. But now we're here about to tear it up.
All right, so in our discussion about a vision board, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to first of all define what is vision. We need to understand exactly what we're trying to create before we do so. And then also look at, what needs to go into writing it. Look at what needs to go into clarifying it. And then also one thing that's not really discussed as much as it ought to be is protecting your vision, right? When no one else sees it, how do you stay focused because you see it and continue pushing forward, right? And then also revising it and making sure it's flexible enough to sustain itself and help sustain you as you meet different bumps in the road, as things change, things around you change. How is it flexible enough to be able to be changed to kind of go along with where you're going with so many uncertainties and things that are unknown, right? So those are the key things we really want to try to focus on and make sure we highlight so that we can be successful at creating this thing and having it be a metric and tool to help us move forward in our trajectory and path towards generational wealth. One of the things that is really interesting about achieving goals is that you kind of need to know what they are in order to hit that mark, right? And one thing that will really help you figure out what that is or whether or not you're able to do so and what's needed to do so is by making it plain. And a lot of times we have dreams, but we don't really have vision, meaning we have like a fanciful idea of kind of where we want to go, but we're not even really sure about that because we haven't reduced it to anything tangible that we can follow step by step and measure ourselves against to make sure that we are progressing appropriately. All right, so let's take a look at actually what a vision is before we go any further. So, a vision, let's see here. There are many definitions, but let's go to what's more relevant to us. Let's look at 2B and 2C. 2B, a thought, concept, or object formed by the imagination. 2C, a manifestation to the senses of something immaterial. So those are some definitions that are, on paper and something that is concrete, something written. But let's kind of just think abstractly about a vision. It's something that tells you kind of where you're going to go before you get there, right? It's something that will help guide you to a place that you've never seen before. And when you think about it, it seems like a very lofty task, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be something that you see that you envision yourself where you want to go and you figure out how to get there, by kind of laying smaller steps, laying smaller bricks towards this larger construction that you're building, right? And so that's what this is. So how can you do that without the blueprint? You need to write it, right? And so that's something that we're going to be talking about now second thing is to write it, make it plain, make it something that is less scary and lofty and something that you can actually look at day in and day out. And one of the things that I think is interesting to do is look at it from the lens of someone who is successful, who has used this concept and had it work in their favor, right? And so I'm going to play a clip here. It's going to be Steve Harvey kind of talking about, some of the things that he has done when it comes to a vision board and really taking that concept, running with it, even to the point where in other videos I've seen, he sews different quotes and things into his clothes and garments in order to always remind him of what his goals are, how to get there, what that vision is, and how to focus and narrow in on it. And so I'm going to play this clip just so we can get a little glimpse of how to think about the concept of vision boarding from his perspective.
But I'm going to give it to you. This scripture changed my life. You have not because you ask not. You have any idea how major those words are for you? You have not cause you ask not. Second reason people don't have what they want, and I'm gonna be through with you, they don't have it written down. This is a very, very important piece to success. It's a principle of success. Every wealthy person knows this. I don't know nobody wealthy don't have a vision board. I don't know nobody wealthy don't have their stuff written on a piece of paper. I don't know nobody. I know a lot of people doing good. We have discussed it at great lengths. They've showed me some of their vision boards that I had to go back and change mine. I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. But you gotta have a vision board, it's gotta be written down. You know why? Because that's a scripture too. Habakkuk 2:2. Go, I know where this one at. Habakkuk 2:2. Go home and read that one. It says, write the vision and make it plain, so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, that means take a long time, wait for it, for surely it will come at an appointed time.
So there he's talking about just kind of giving you a glimpse into his understanding of how the vision board aspect of things kind of changed his life when it came to making the vision plain. And you don't have to think about it from a necessarily spiritual standpoint if you don't wish to, but just thinking about it from a standpoint of having a plan and moving towards something. One thing I found very interesting in some of what he said was that he started to understand other people he found to be successful were doing this, and they were doing it to a point where he felt like at some point he was dreaming too small and creating a vision that was too small, or maybe even not specific enough, or what have you, because he mentioned having to revise his vision board, go back and change some things once he saw other people's vision board who had been successful. So he was able to glean other tips from them, you know, in terms of how to be even more successful towards reaching his own goals, which I found really interesting. And so from that, you can take what you will, but the key point is to make the vision plain, write it, and become better at writing it over time so that you can hit that mark that you set for yourself, or whatever various marks that you set for yourself. Another interesting thing he's about to get into here that I think is really interesting for all of us to do is to challenge ourselves to exhaust the list of things that we are looking to do. A lot of us, I think, are scared to really write down everything that we want to be in store for us or want to achieve, because maybe for one, it's a little scary. Maybe for two, we're confused and not really sure exactly what we want. And so it's harder to hit a mark that you haven't set, right? So it'll force you to do a few things. It'll force you to identify what is it that you really want. And the powerful thing in that is that if you don't know what you really want, now you know that you don't know. Right? And so there's power in that to move towards, okay, well, let's think about this. What do I want? When do I want it? How do I want it? And, you know, and what do I want things to look like ultimately for me in my life? And I think that is really, there's power in that. It's really important to do. And so we're going to listen a little bit about this exercise. And I think we should do it in order to exhaust that list for ourselves and really understand what it is that we want and refine that as time goes on.
On a piece of paper. Now here's the exercise I want you to do. This gonna trip you out. Write everything you want from God on a piece of paper. Be as detailed as you can. Write it down. The object for you is to write down 300 things, because I know 300 things that you could use. It's gonna be hard for you. When you get to number 75, you're gonna get stuck because your mind isn't conditioned to think way out there. So you're gonna try to stay in your little list. But I want you to just open up your imagination. If you could have anything you wanted, put it on a piece of paper. Anything. How many cars? What kind of car? What color? Where you want your next house to be? Do you want a summer home? Where you want to travel to? How much you want in the bank? How much would you like to have to retire? What you want to leave for your grandkids? How much would you like to give all your siblings? Would you like to one day walk in there and just give all your family a check? Put everything you want on a piece of paper. Do not stop until you have 300 things. It's gonna take you a while. I'm telling you, when you get to 75, your brain gonna lock up. But keep writing it down. But every morning, Read your list. I don't want you watching TV at night. I want you to read your list, unless it's Family Feud. Other than that, I just... No, but seriously, take 5 minutes and read your list every night, every morning. 1 year from today, wait 1 year from today, and take a pen out and go down on your list and check off anything that has happened for you that's on that list. Listen to me. If you do that in faith, if you read your list with the expectation that God is going to do some great things for you, at the end of 1 year, you will be stunned, absolutely stunned at how much stuff comes off that list. I promise you, at least 30 things will be off that list. At minimum, 10% of your list will come true. You know how I know? Because I know a lot of people that done it. But you know how I really know? Because I did it. When I open up my phone, I wish I had it. My phone is my vision board. My phone ain't got a picture, no damn dog on it, no sunset, none of that. All of my computers have my vision board on it. Every iPad, tablet I got, laptop, when I pull it, I have my vision board on it. Because that's the signal I'm sending to God that I believe this is what you're going to do for me.
So that's really important there, right? In terms of like the concept, like I said, of clarifying what it is that you really want, understanding what that is, and making it plain and working towards it. I'm really excited about this exercise because I think that really doing so, like I said, will provide a level of clarity that many of us do not currently have. And that's one of the key things about doing this is getting clarity and then making a connection to your vision and goal that you can move forward on. Some actionable items, some things that really that help key in and focus your energies. Because a lot of us are doing things every day. We're moving left, right, here, up, down, around the corner. But our energies a lot of times are spent for naught because we are not focusing it on the things that matter the most to us. Maybe perhaps in large part because we don't know what those things are. We have not made it plain, set it forth, whether it be, family, your lineage, who's coming after you, where you want to live, what you want to have, what business you want to be in, what fulfills you in terms of works so that it doesn't feel like work. What do you have that adds the most value to society, kind of how you see yourself, all of those things, right? And making things plain really will help and drive you towards those things in a way that it sounds like it's going to be in some ways subconscious, because you're going to be, being active, reading that list, making sure that you're revising. I'm going to skip to that area, the discussion of revising and continuing to update that list as time goes on, and being flexible based upon whatever's happening in your life. Like you said, take a look at that list every day, every night, put it in prominent places, and some vision boards can be very, very personal. So you may not need to have it where other people can see it and all of that stuff, but put it in prominent places where you can visit it quite often, where it's something that's always present for you, looking at it to the point where it's become a part of your daily thought process. And you'll be surprised a lot of times how much, you work towards things subconsciously, even when it becomes, something that's kind of that you're focusing on. So one of those things that I think is really key is putting that vision in prominent places, that list that we talked about. Even if it's not the whole vision board, the list portion, putting that somewhere that you can review it every day and figure out, am I really hitting any of this? And that will really help you key in on, are you doing enough? Are you doing the right things? Are you focusing your attentions properly? And do these things mean the same to me that they did when I made this list originally? And then you can kind of see your progress as well, which is really, really key. And he's just kind of saying matching, making sure you're on task with that. So now at this point, we've talked about what is a vision? What is it, right? What is this thing we're trying to create so we know what we're doing and do it properly? Then also looking at how does that come about? So we write it, right? We make it plain, we put it down, we take a dream and make a plan, right? And then we clarify that over time and revise it as well to make sure that it's meeting the need that it was destined to meet initially, so that each of the building blocks to this construction makes sense and get us to the ultimate goal that we want to get to. But also, we want to also make sure that we protect our vision, right? We protect it, meaning that we make sure that we are laser focused on what it is that we deem success to be for us, and not let that not be deterred by anything else that's exterior, outside of what it is that you would like to do for yourself, right? And it's really, really important. So I'm going to play a portion of what Iyanla talks about in terms of protecting the vision after you've identified it.
So affirm your vision every day. And just because somebody else can't see your vision doesn't mean that it's not a powerful vision for you. Here's another key for you. Never judge your clarity on how other people respond. Did you hear me? They're gonna say, what you doing? You crazy. Why are you doing that? You can't do that. Who told you you could do that? Who do you think you are? I love that one. Who do you think you are? Me? Affirm your vision, clarify your vision, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it, day by day, moment by moment. And sometimes the how only shows up on a need-to-know basis. Don't wait for the how until you start pursuing your vision. You understand? Don't wait for the how. Sometimes you just have to walk blindly. But if you just do your vision, every single day, putting one foot in front of the other, committed to your desires, being obedient, walking through your fears, the vision will unfold much grander than you could have ever even imagined or asked for. So, this is what I say. Listen for the instruction instead of begging for the direction. Listen.
So we just listened to Iyanla kind of talk about what I refer to as protecting the vision, and what she talks about kind of nurturing that, which I feel like is just about the same thing, really. But in terms of protecting it, you want to make sure that you are being still enough and taking time enough, like I said, with the day-to-day review of what it is that you're wanting to push towards, that you're taking enough time to make sure that that is you, what you want, and not allowing too many externalities and people and things to come in and dilute or change or taint what it is that you're developing and building for yourself, right? In terms of your future, your vision, where you're going. And so that's really key there, because doing all of the work is very important, but the follow through is also important. And you can't really have that if you're allowing too many externalities to come in and change your direction. I remember I spoke previously about, not allowing different things to expend your energy in areas that are not productive, right? So not really keeping a stern look and strong focus on your goal and how you've put it forth can cause you to expend energy in other places that is just a waste of time. So I really think looking at it from this perspective will allow us to really try this thing and give it the best go, right? So to understand what a vision is, to write it, make it plain, clarify it, revise it over time, revisit it as Steve Harvey and different people were saying, right? And to try to meet whatever the requirement is for you to be able to keep on course and on track with everything that you've written down and made plain, and figure out how to get to that next step or to achieve those things over time. And then make sure that all the while you're protecting what it is that you're trying to build from externalities that may not have your same best interest at heart, right? So I think if we do these things, then we would definitely start to see a change, not only in things that are happening towards our goals, but also a change in mindset, right? A change that we can begin to see things in a way that is more clear toward what we want, more clear towards our vision, more clear towards the blueprint that we're building for our future. So I think we should try this. I challenge you all to try it and kind of let me know how that's going. Give me some comments. Let me know what you've done, what you added to it, how you changed it to match more so something that's specific to you, those different things. But how have you seen this be productive? And really try to do it in a way that is most productive to you, your personality, your proclivities, all those different things that make you a unique person, right? Maybe you're a person who wants to record your voice, right? All the different things that you want to hear yourself audibly say. I want this, I want that. Give yourself affirmations and things of that nature, or modify it in that way. Whatever makes it more real and defined and clear for you, right? And I'd love to hear more about that from each of you individually. But so continue on the journey. I think this will really help us towards kind of moving towards anything else that we look at, which a lot of it will be geared towards mindset and viewing things in a specific way. And I think it'll help you individually on your journey as well as myself on mine. And I'd love to hear more about how things change over time. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think about the ideas. Put them down in the comments below. Y'all have a good one.
'Cause it goes back and forth. I know that you feel that pressure, but I don't ever fall. Keep on rising like a diamond in the rough. In the rough, diamond in the rough.